All right. Welcome, everybody, to This Is Our Year, the Minnesota Football Show. So it's looking like this is going to be our last episode of season 2 because the new league year turns over on the 15th. And that is when a bunch of crazy stuff is probably going to start happening. But we have had, I mean, really quite a bit happen in this offseason so far, more than I would have expected. But before we get into all of that, first thing, obviously, yesterday on March 11th, legendary Vikings head coach Bud Grant passed away at 95 years old. Lived a long life, and he really did a lot for this organization and a lot for the state. So, obviously, our thoughts and prayers are with his family. On the bottom, we got the ticker, some of his career stats, his regular season and postseason, NFL champion, NFL coach of the year. Couldn't get that Super Bowl, but
my first exposure to Bud Grant was during the 15 playoff game at TCF Bank Stadium when the Vikes were in that transitionary period in between the dome and the bank. We had the playoff game heartbreaker against Seattle. I think it was like -25. It was something absolutely absurd. And he was out there in a golf polo and a hat, like a coach. Looked like he was ready to get out there. But yeah, they brought him out for the coin toss. And
I
remember going like, who the hell is that guy? Jesus, he's gonna freeze right there on the spot. But no, he's tough as nails. Back when we played outdoors.
Mm-hmm. I just watched a video yesterday. It was and this was years ago now, but it was Fran Tarkenton talking about Bud Grant and how he was the greatest leader that he had ever known. And he had learned more from Bud Grant than anyone in the world aside from maybe his father. So he certainly affected a lot of people. Again, he was, way before our time, but I'm sure a lot of fans have a lot of fond memories of Bud as coach.
95.
Yeah.
95.
Good guy. So, also, what happened this week? We were able to see kind of an end of an era here for the Vikings, with the releases of Eric Kendricks, Adam Thielen, and the waiving of Cameron Dantzler. So let's talk about that. First and foremost, I guess Eric Kendricks. I'm very concerned, and as we have been concerned about the linebacker room for the Vikings going forward without Eric Kendricks. I mean, clearly we know that he hasn't been having some of his best seasons, but I mean he's been a staple of this defense for a long time. Like
he's a captain, he's got a C on his chest.
Exactly. 117 games played, 9 interceptions, 3 touchdowns, 51 pass deflections, 15 sacks. He was approaching some of the top of the record books for his position for sure. So it's certainly, it's sad to see him go, especially after last year with Anthony Barr leaving. It truly is the end of an era on this defensive side of the ball. He's been around a long time, and things are definitely going.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I've said
for sure. The door is definitely closing on this. I was going to say the door is definitely closing on this. The Mike Zimmer defense that we had. It's kind of sad because this defense was such a staple of the team for probably the last 5 to 7 years. And we're just it kind of sucks. But this is what the NFL is. This is what all major sports leagues are. It's a carousel of coming in and going out of players. But it really sucks on this week just because we're losing, I think, two of the biggest cornerstones of this Vikings team on offense and defense. We can admit that Eric Kendricks' last couple of years may have not been what it once was. but he still was able to bring that energy. And I mean, even it's hard to say. I mean, there's so many unseen and like things that aren't stats that a player can bring to a team. And I think Eric Kendricks really embodied a lot of those, especially what you want from a linebacker position. I mean, just like, and it's just not going to be the same watching this Vikings defense, because for the last like 5 years, I can say one of the players on the defense I usually always keep my eye on was Eric Kendricks, because he was just such a force to be reckoned with, and he was just such a good torchbearer, is maybe the word to say, of this defense, of just kind of carrying us even through the dark times and through the good times. And that's just it. It's just he was always there, and he really bled purple, and that's what you want to see on the defense, especially with being a Vikings fan. Is our history of a defense being a good defense is so important. And I really thought his time in Minnesota, he was able to carry that torch from the greats before him, and now it's time for him to pass it on to whoever is going to be the next purple people eater.
Asamoah, baby. It's Asamoah time. I mean, he's a guy, Asamoah's a guy, they rookie last year, you want to kind of sit those guys and not give them too big of roles right away. He was able to incorporate, and help out on this defense, but really mainly just watching, Eric Kendricks and Jordan Hicks and kind of seeing how the middle linebacker, kind of inside linebacker, works in this new sort of 3-4 defense. And I mean, we saw it. I've said on this show before, you get, this is your line of scrimmage. You get your quarterback throwing swing passes out here to the running back. Kendricks is up here. He's just not able to keep up like he used to. We saw it so many times, I feel like, at least once a game, where quarterback would quick throw a ball, and then the running back is just sprinting past Kendricks, just not able to keep up like he used to. But really good up the middle. I'll always remember Kendricks and Barr sitting in that A and B gap and doing the boom. They're sitting right up there with, Sharif Floyd and Daniil Hunter and Brian Robinson, and then boom, just crushing that gap. And, the combo of Kendricks and Barr, the UCLA boys back in the day, was so elite right up in that gap, because you never knew whether they're going to rush or, sit back and play zone coverage, which flustered a lot of quarterbacks. So, yeah, but I mean, it'll be great to see Asamoah,
especially with Harrison
that inside linebacker spot. And, what was that?
Yeah, no. Especially with Harrison Smith behind them too.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, you're right, Austin. It is the end of an era.
It was a nightmare for QBs for a while.
It was needed. I think it's needed at this point. Unfortunately, it's not much. It's a business. Not much else you can do. Hopefully, my biggest concern and the biggest concern that my father expressed as well was, this is, par for the course for the Vikings. Go see Kendricks and Thielen. One of those guys is going to win a Super Bowl in the next 2 years.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, you always
for sure. And I mean, me and Mikey, we were kind of talking about this yesterday. Yeah, but I mean, and I don't think Kendrick's time in NFL is done. Especially with how we've been seeing the last couple of years, veteran defensive players going to new teams and kind of playing a what was it? You said it yesterday really well, Mikey. Almost a
like a rotational
player. I mean, it's kind of a way where the NFL, the NFL is becoming a little bit like the NBA, where you're starting to see these vets get put in maybe for 3 or 4 plays, come out, and a new guy goes in for 3 or 4 plays, and then they go back in. I think maybe
Austin,
that would
yesterday
be a really
we were
good
talking
spot
about
for Kendricks, because I really do.
I was going to say yesterday we were talking about how Linval Joseph did so well with the Eagles in his few games over there, being a rotational player. He's still able to, make a real impact. And something we didn't talk about was Anthony Barr was even able to make an impact playing that way on the Cowboys this last season. So I agree. I certainly think that Eric Kendricks, he's got more football left in him, and wherever he goes, he is going to make an immediate impact. Any team, yeah. He'll make an immediate impact on and off the field. If anybody didn't see his post on Instagram, he posted a few pictures of him in Vikings uniform, and he said, "Minnesota, I gave you my all. They told me it was a business, but I'll always treat it like the game I love. Heart on my sleeve for everyone to see. I don't know any other way. #Skull."
What class act?
He's just a good guy. Just
No,
a
he
good
is.
guy.
I mean, the franchise gave him a lot. He gave the franchise even more. It's like we said, it's a sad day. This reminds me. I always like to bring up like WWE references, but this reminds me of like when the pandemic broke out. Just like it was called Black Wednesday, when just a bunch of people started to getting released. And I kind of feel like this last week was the Minnesota Vikings version of that. Is just seeing a lot of these staple mark players leaving, and it hurts. It's kind of like it's a sad time that's happening, but it's very exciting because we're about to see a new Vikings team on offense and on defense. So I'm very
This was
excited
still
for
Zimmer's
what the
team.
future
This was
holds.
still Zimmer's team. It was still Zimmer's guys. You know, well, eventually it's going to kind of
another thing
out.
Yeah, and another thing me and Mikey were talking about the other day was I felt like this last season was it was almost a trial run where the team didn't change entirely that much, and it was to test, was it really Zimmer's fault that the team didn't do so well, or is it some of the players? And I think we realized like definitely the change in coaching helped, but there's still a lot on the team that needed to change. And I think, and bravo to Kwesi for this one, just for being willing to kind of just jump ship, not like staying on ship, but like really just changing it up and really not being scared to make these bold releases or bold moves that we've been seeing. And it's exciting time to be a Vikings fan, but also at the very same time, it's kind of sad and it's the end of a chapter.
Right, absolutely. And with Kwesi, I mean, it really was. It seemed like last year was kind of a trial run. Like, okay, let's make a control group here. Let's see what really was the problem. How much of it was a Zimmer problem? And we were able to find that a lot of it was a Zimmer problem, but there is also problems with just an aging roster. And we saw that especially toward the end of the season. So it was good that the owners were willing to make a change as far as leadership. And now, after trying out, with maybe what the owners wanted or maybe, fan favorites and stuff like that, after trying that out, now I'm happy to see that Kwesi is not afraid to build his team the way that he wants to build it. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited to see where else that goes. But let's talk about Adam Thielen. The news of this one came shortly after the Eric Kendricks news. I mean, obviously he gave a lot of his entire career in Minnesota, college at Mankato. I mean, if you look at some of these things, 101 starts, 135 games played, 21 100-yard games, fifth in franchise history. His name is all over the Vikings franchise receiving record books, mostly in
all-pro, right? Also an all-pro?
Was he an all-pro? I don't know if he was
second. I believe it was second team in like 2016.
I think it was 2017 or 2018 he did it. Yeah.
You might be right about that. For sure 2 Pro Bowls. Again, his receptions, targets.
Second team all-pro in 2017.
There you go.
Yeah,
most consecutive 100 receiving yard games.
Yeah.
Tied.
Yeah, because that was what, 8? He had like 8 or 9 straight 100-yard games that year.
Tied it.
Yeah, it was a really good season.
What a run he had. But I mean, obviously,
it was one of those
we're all going to miss having Thielen, and we've talked a lot about this throughout the season. I think the writing was on the wall that his role has been diminished, but I don't know. He's definitely, with the thin wide receiver market this year as far as free agents, there's no doubt that he'll find a job somewhere.
Yeah, might even find a job in the division. But yeah, I mean, it's really that one, I think, and nothing against Eric Kendricks, because Eric Kendricks, I'm not saying he didn't give as much as Adam Thielen did to this organization, but just the fact that, like you said, Mikey, he was born, raised in Minnesota, played for us his career. Honestly, he's the receiver that almost never happened just because he was on special teams, wasn't really looked at to be a guy to take a starting lineup, but he became that. And then he I think especially Minnesota sports, we love having that hometown guy, and he filled the void that Joe Mauer left when he retired from the Twins. Yeah, I mean, when you walk through Minnesota, like especially during like football season, you're gonna always see the Randy Moss jersey. You're gonna see the Adam Thielen jersey forever. It's one of those jerseys that people are gonna keep. It's gonna be remembered. It's gonna be sold forever as like those authentic retro jerseys. It's because it's just there's just such a connection to him just from him being a Minnesota boy growing up here. And it's so storybooky to have a guy like that on our team. And he gave so much for us. I mean, he put his body on the line. Like we were talking about that 2017 season. How many catches did he make where he didn't land on his feet? He hit the ground hard because he was going vertical or horizontal. It's just,
there were so many times.
He was a dog. He was a dog.
He'd go flying and land straight on his knees.
Because he had nothing to lose. He had everything to gain and nothing to lose for us. And the fact that you probably even asked him, the fact that he got to put on the purple jersey just one time is good enough. And it is sad that he had to go, but at the same time, this is why I'm giving credits to this front office. You may call them like lack of emotion or emotionless sometimes with some of these things that they're doing, but that's what you do to be a good sports organization. You got to put the emotions away and make the hard decisions. And I guarantee you, if you ask pretty much 10 Minnesotan Vikings fans, they would have all said, let's keep Adam Thielen because he's a Minnesota boy, but not because of his stats. And I don't want to say anything bad about him right now, but we can admit this last season, we started to see that rust.
And the big thing there is that, I feel like teams almost started to view him as a little bit less of a threat too. You don't really need to double cover Adam Thielen, which, puts more people on JJ's side. And, it's if we can get a guy that can be that true number 2, which, KJ is probably going to step into that role. But then who's taking the number 3? There's a lot of questions there that will get answered. Yeah. Not a whole, it's not going to serve a whole lot of purpose to speculate. Obviously, KJ's going to have a very increased role this next season. But, you can just throw stuff at the wall and see if it sticks. As far as speculation goes, whether we're going to draft or hit the free agency trade. But all I'm saying is make T. Higgins a Viking. Anyways, so Mikey, what's next on the docket here?
Well, I guess let's talk a little bit about Cameron Dantzler. It was a bit of a head-scratching move.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one coming, just being that he's still on his rookie contract and he has shown promise before. But I guess, we don't really know everything that happens behind closed doors. We know that he had to miss some time for personal reasons last year. So
injury-ridden too.
Yeah, injuries as well. So I don't know. It is weird to me that they would go ahead and waive a guy still on his rookie deal who is, been put in a position to start.
When we have so little depth in the first place. There's got to be a move there that we don't know about that's going to happen.
Right. Well, and that's just it. This whole thing, getting rid of Eric Kendricks and Adam Thielen and now Cameron Dantzler, we have a lot of needs. And I don't like when we're going to have to be drafting for need. And again, like how I mentioned before, the free agent wide receiver market isn't good.
No.
And I don't want to necessarily use one of our draft picks on a wide receiver.
And the draft pool at wide receiver is not as good this year as it has. You think about in years past where you've got your Amon-Ra St. Browns that you can find deep in the draft. Not saying there aren't those guys around this time, but you're not going to have, think about the first and second and third round receivers that came before Amon-Ra St. Brown. And those guys are like, the Jamar Chases of the world, you know what I'm saying? The JJs of the world. There aren't Jamar Chases and JJs of the world in this next draft. There just aren't. You listen to Daniel Jeremiah from NFL Network and the number 1 mock drafter ever. You listen to him talk. There is not that perennial wideout in this draft. There just isn't. There's like Jackson Smith, Najiba.
Yeah.
But that's it. That is literally it. It's going to be like first round top 10 talent and then a big, dig. But, this circles back to Adam Thielen. Started working the special teams, blocking punts. You never really know who's going to step up. Maybe Jalen Naylor, but it's, when we're cutting guys like Cam Dantzler in positions that we really, are we going to bring back Pat Pete now? I feel like this pretty much cements the fact that we're bringing back Pat Pete, right?
Maybe. And I don't know. This is just one of those things.
Is he going to regress? What are we?
Maybe, very likely, because he is on the other side of 30 as well. But it's scary. It's exciting, but it's also scary because I don't know if we're going to be able to fill all of these needs. Yes, these guys were expensive and they maybe weren't as good as they used to be, but they were filling a position that we needed.
Which is why at this point, I feel like the stars are almost aligning for a Kirk Cousins 1-year extension to free up cap, a JJ Monster deal to free up cap, so that we can, put ourselves out there in free agency for linebacker and corner.
Not only the JJ deal, also TJ. I think it's very possible we extend him this offseason. You sent me a post today, Carrie, about how the Vikings are sellers in this offseason.
We are open for business.
Yeah. And a lot of teams are looking to revamp their entire rosters. And, when we were talking about this during the season, when we were approaching that trade deadline window, we were certainly not sellers then. We were going, I hate to say we were going all in, but we sure did our best.
We were, yeah. My only thing here, and, specifically the thing that I sent you, it was a report from Jeremy Fowler at ESPN. Vikings are open for business, specifically, looking more at Dalvin Cook. The report came out last week or earlier this week that, teams were offering trades. The trades were there. The interest is there for Dalvin Cook. My only thing is, and this is, me kind of forecasting a little bit here, he comes with a big chunk of money. He's on the wrong side of 25. I believe that the compensation is not going to be great. And there's a good chance we may end up getting even fleeced, where I don't think any team is going to shell out a first-round draft pick for Dalvin Cook. It will be a second and then a fourth and then maybe a third next year. It's not going to be a first, though.
I could even see less. I could see a third being that highest.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know if he is explosive.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you guys on that. That Justin Jefferson isn't going to get a lot.
What?
But with how I've seen trade,
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook. Sorry, my apologies. Dalvin Cook getting a lot, but with the trades we've seen this last year, people are idiots in this league. You just need to find the right buyer. Now, if we were trading to a team who's a middle of the league, I agree with you. The best we're probably going to get to second round pick. But if we can find a team who is just one small key needing a running back to help them go forward, for example, maybe Tampa Bay last year with Tom Brady, where it was just unclear. Was Leonard Fournette the guy? No, he wasn't.
They cut him, right?
Now I think
they are releasing him.
Yes, I do believe they are. Yeah, but I think you just need to find the right buyer. Chicago proved that right with the trade they made the other day with Panthers. They fleeced them. They got the whole yard sale for $1, and it's just you got to find the right buyer. And interesting time. At the end of the season, we were kind of talking about how it looks like Alexander Madison's leaving and Dalvin Cook's staying.
Breaking news. Rams and Dolphins are closing in on a trade for superstar Jalen Ramsey. It's expected to get done by the end of today.
No.
That was kind of my under the radar. I wish the Vikings could have done
that. Opens up another conversation, though. When we're obviously going to
per Ian Rappaport, they're in deep talks. It's going to get done by the end of today.
Oh boy! So
who is that? Rams and Dolphins.
Rams and Dolphins. Jalen Ramsey.
You said here. Yeah. And it doesn't matter. Dolphins, you're still a crap.
Jalen Dolphinsy. No? Okay.
That sucks. I really wanted us to.
Yes. Mikey, can you say it louder for the people in the back?
They should call him Jalen Dolphinsy. Okay. But
don't get
anyway,
it.
I mean,
I'm
that opens
sorry.
up another conversation when we're looking at what we need going into this season. I mean, do we get one, as Jim Wright commented, shout out to Jim, a superhero corner? Do we get one superhero corner, or do we get two like pretty good corners?
My prediction is if the Vikes are going to do any sort of trade or free agent moves on corners, it's going to be guys on the right side of 26 for corner. It's going to be younger guys that are maybe second string corners. I'm looking at guys like Sean Murphy Bunting. Who else? I know there are other guys out there. Byron Murphy from Arizona. There are guys that are young and good that are, similar to Cameron Dantzler's age, but have had that, maybe even playoff experience, on-field experience a little bit more, less injury-ridden.
How old? Do you guys know how old is CJ Gardner-Johnson?
He is also set to be a free agent, correct?
Yeah, and also Darius Slay has been given permission to seek a trade.
Yeah, that one I'm thinking will end up. Well, I was originally going to say Miami. Darius Slay, that was kind of the prime destination. CJ Gardner-Johnson's 25, and yeah, there's going to be a ton of teams trying to get him there.
He's probably going to be wanting a pretty big payday, is the thing.
Yeah.
And now with so many needs,
I would predict a team like even Detroit or Chicago, a team with a ton of cap, will end up landing him. I think the real guy that we aren't giving enough, speculation to, or, talking about enough is wide receiver Chosen Anderson.
Yeah. Recently released by the Cardinals. He was not chosen, but I mean, we're talking about this very, very thin wide receiver market. He's got to be at the top of the list, which is weird, right?
There is no way he's at the top of the list.
I mean, I can't really think of many other free agent receivers that are
Adam Thielen and get this, Odell. Did you guys see that the Vikings are at his workout?
I did see that.
Who is the receiver that just got let go by the Jets? Barrios?
Braxton Berrios.
Yeah, he's going to be one.
He's a younger Adam Thielen. He's scrappy. He's.
Yeah.
If I had to make a player comp, it'd be Adam Thielen.
I mean, he can really get in on that jet sweep though too. So.
Yep.
I love the.
Also,
the
at the same time, though,
Harry, is that because Braxton Berrios is a white guy?
I mean, we're coming up. I texted you guys the other day. We're coming up on that time of year where you're watching the draft, and they always compare guys to the same guys who look like them. It's like you get this flashy white receiver, and it's like, oh yeah, Cooper Kupp and Adam Thielen are two guys that really remind me. Yeah, it's just terrible. It's so bad how they literally just do it.
Julian Edelman, Wes Welker.
But when Aiden Hutchinson's getting his comps, they're like, like Joey Bosa or J.J. Watt.
Yeah. There's going to be a white corner that comes through, and they're going to go.
I don't know, but I just, with how everything's kind of looking out and shaping up to be, I think free agency draft is going to be definitely defensive heavy, and I have a feeling for that wide receiver 3 spot, we might be seeing Rager popping up and getting it. I don't know if he deserves it, but I just think it might be the best bet just to keep the players within. I know how you feel, Carrie, but it's just
Jalen Rager.
I mean, we got to understand he's still a first round pick, and he really hasn't gotten a lot of time on the field at his position. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him maybe preseason or early seasons kind of stepping up in that wide receiver 3 spot. But I do think we're heavily going to be using KJ, TJ, and
yeah, you don't really need another 5-star weapon. You have TJ Hawkinson.
No, I agree. I think
the receiver is a position where you need depth. Injuries happen. Mikey, it looks like you're going to say something.
We're going to have it.
I was going to say, let's we'll come back to some more of this free agent, Vikings league at large talk, but let's get to a very big reason why we're here. How well do you guys remember last season? We've got the current score. Austin at 21, Carey at 21. Here's what's going to happen, guys. We said before you got to win by 2. So there's a couple of options here. Either win by 2 or best 4 out of 7. I've got 7 questions. Whichever comes first.
God.
Whoever is on top at the end of 7 or whoever can get a lead of 2 wins.
Okay.
So,
here we go.
Yeah, all right. Now,
Wait, who goes first? Who got the last point?
I think Carey got the last point.
I think I got the last. Carey got the last point? Okay.
I think so. Yeah, that's what I have in my notes.
It would make sense we're tied because I think I had the lead before.
Yes,
going
because I
tied.
took the ticker and said, "Oh, Austin, what could have been?" And it was Austin wins the.
All right, so Carey got the last point, so that means it is Austin's question first. He gets the choice. Are you ready to hear it?
Yeah.
All right. Eric Kendricks led the 2021 team in combined tackles. How many did he have?
In what year? 2021?
2021.
20.
It's getting
Yeah,
it's getting a little weird now
sorry,
because now we're going back.
It's getting a little weird, yeah, because it's more than a year now. He had total tackles, led the league, or not the league, the team.
Led the team. How many combined tackles did he have?
Okay, I'm gonna go 86.
Final answer locked in?
Yes.
All right, Carey.
85. There's no way it's that high.
Are you locked in?
I am locked in.
Okay. Well, the updated score. Austin is 22. Carey is at 21. He had 143 combined tackles.
What?
Yeah.
I wanted to go higher. You got it. Haven't you ever played Madden, Carey? Like, players get so many tackles combined. That means even when it's double team tackles.
Madden, I'm looking at tackles for loss, sacks, picks, fumbles.
Stop looking at the pretty stats. Look at the stats that win you a league.
Okay. All right. Are you ready for the next question? So,
are you, Carey?
Austin wins this one. So that means, Carey, this one is for you. Are you ready?
Yep.
How many receiving yards did Adam Thielen have in the 2021 season?
I'll pass to Austin.
Austin?
How many receiving yards did he have in the 2021 season?
Yes, Adam Thielen.
Give me 1,100.
Locked in.
No, give me
answer?
1,046.
1,046. Locked in.
Yes.
All right.
I did not do my studying.
What do you think, Carey?
Carey, do you really want to win? You have to do so much homework next season then on this? Mikey's just so happy to pass this off.
Hey, you know what? I enjoy it. I really do. But that is what's on the table.
It keeps him up at night.
I know we broke 1,000.
I don't, but Justin Jefferson was the head guy.
Or did he break 1,000? Yeah, he definitely did. Kirk
Carey?
had a great year in 2021. Give me 1050, Mikey.
Loser.
250. Are you locked in?
Yep.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Austin. He did not break 1,000. Thielen had 726 receiving yards that season.
God, that was my gut. My gut instinct was that
games.
he didn't break it.
And here we go. Here's a new banner. Austin wins. Congratulations, Austin. I didn't even get to go through more than 2 questions.
Austin, the only thing that would make this wound heal is if you did the Jameis Winston Eat a W right now. Can you do the Jameis Winston eat a W?
How does he do it? Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you've seen the clip.
I don't know. What does he eat
he
it
goes,
actually, or
you know what we're gonna do? You know what we're gonna do today? We're gonna eat a W.
What? I haven't seen that. No.
Eat the
I think
W.
I'll just go. I'll go with a Vikings player saying, "Hey, Carrie, you like that?"
All right. Well, Austin, congratulations. You did it. You remember not last season now. Well, I guess
Do we start
kind of.
this on the? Do I start this on the next episode, or do we wait until the start of the season?
Oh my gosh. Next episode will be the start of the new season.
I know, but are we
You
going to
know
wait
what?
until the actual start of the? Because I mean, I could start for the next episode.
It's on you to
I want to know.
figure it
Are
out
we taking
now. We can
We'll do this.
yeah, I mean I think now that's not my concern anymore.
Okay, I'll figure it out then.
Congratulations. How do you
Get
how do
ready.
you
My
feel
questions.
to be a big winner?
It feels really good. I mean, I deserved it. That's all I'm going to say. Is I deserved it.
Carrie, what are you going to do different next year?
Not get confused. I keep confusing myself season to season.
Well, and it gets harder, the later that we get, especially now that this season is over.
Yeah.
It feels like not that long ago Adam Thielen was having 1,000-yard seasons, but he didn't in 2021. But anyway, it's settled. So starting next season of the show, Austin will be the question master here, and I get some skin in the game. I'm looking forward to it.
Jalen Ramsey has tweeted mood, and it is this clip of a happy person giving a concert. I'm not quite sure what artist this is, but Jalen Ramsey
he's thrilled.
He's thrilled, and it sounds like his time in LA done.
Oof.
Yeah. Speaking of players in their time of their being done at the team they are, I think it's about time we started talking about this Aaron Rodgers.
Well,
How
let's
we
quick
feel
hit
about
Za'Darius Smith before we hit Aaron Rodgers.
That's true.
Oh, I get.
What's
This
going
is-
on with Za'Darius?
I
He
feel like
sold
this
his house.
is very
He
concerning.
made a big post.
This is very concerning.
I also saw today that San Francisco and the Rams are both interested in Za'Darius if he gets waived by the Vikings.
Well, and that's the messed up part, is that he wants to be released because there's nothing. If you
So
look
why?
at the statistics,
There are
like, of
people
course,
asking why. Why
he
does he
earned
want
a
to be
payday.
released?
He earned a big payday, and he's not probably
How?
going to get a payday.
Are
What do
we
you mean
not
how?
already paying him a lot? It's a 3-year deal. It's a pretty big one. It's not like he's leading the league in sacks. Why does he want more money?
No, but it's not top 10. He played top 10 statistically this year.
Yeah, for the first half
At the beginning of the season.
second half of the season.
For the first, agreed.
First half of the season, he
Second
was
half,
top
he was
3.
nothing. It was the Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, second half
He
of the
still
season.
generated
I agree with
pressures.
you, but
we even talked about this.
it was the
He still
first half.
generated pressures.
I know he did, but it's just there's a couple things you got to watch with Za'Darius. If he was able to maybe spread out what he did achieve this last year all the way through the season, and it wasn't just one half to the second half, yeah, let's talk about it. If he didn't have a history of injuries, which even last year, there was a few times we were worried that he was going down, yeah, let's give him that contract. But the fact is, it's just he wasn't 100% consistent for me. And I think same for the Vikings team. If he was able just to kind of maybe spread it out a little bit, yeah, let's give him that contract. But there's just such a question mark and a risk factor for a player like that on the Vikings that it's hard,
Yes and no.
especially when we're at the place where we're releasing players, we're cutting down cap. It's just what makes him different than the Adam Thielens, the Eric Kendricks, the Cam Dantzlers, who each had a glimpse of
amazingness this last year, but still didn't go. It's just we're
Because
at a point
Za'Darius
where
still had a Pro Bowl level season. He was still a top 10, even through not doing as much through the second half of the season, and he was available. What, did he miss one game?
No, you're right.
That's huge.
He
That's
didn't miss
huge.
this last year.
He's not a player that we can really afford to get rid of at this point.
Nope.
I think he is.
DJ Wanham?
I think he's a player.
DJ Wanham?
I think we didn't when we signed him, Mikey and Carrie, when we signed Za'Darius Smith, we didn't expect what he did. We didn't have that expectation, and yes, he did break our expectations. Yes, he did. But then when he exceeded it, he didn't do much after. I will agree with you, Mikey. He caused pressures, but there's a bunch of players in this league that can cause pressures and get the QB to run in the direction of Danielle
DJ
Hunter.
Wanham.
Not DJ.
Sure,
Wanham.
DJ Wanham. It's just with where the Vikings are, like you said, we are sellers this year. We are sellers. We are not buyers. We're going to be very conservative with our budget. And I think
he's got 2 years left in his deal. Are we going to lose money? Are we going to go in the negative by cutting him? That I don't understand because, in Madden, not saying this is like Madden, but you sign a guy to a 3-year deal. If you cut him after the first year, you're likely losing money.
I think it might be different with Za'Darius.
Because
from everything I've heard, he has received all guaranteed money. He's received every penny that he will get of guaranteed money from the Vikings at this point. So I think he is entirely incentivized based on the season that he had last year to get a new contract from the Vikings or somewhere else. I mean, if we look at how much he's getting paid, after cutting, some of these other people, his cap hit will be $15 million.
That's a lot.
And let's see, if we cut him, I'm still figuring out how to figure these things out. But I mean, yeah, $15 million, yeah, it's a lot. But for what he was able to do, especially in the beginning of the season, things changed after he got injured during the Bills game. But he was still able to be available for pretty much all of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think whatever he is looking for, and he has every right to do it. He has every right to request a release.
But he has every right to look for more money. I expected this to be resolved within a day or two. This is a few days ago that this all just out of nowhere. I saw the tweet from Ian Rappaport, and I thought it was Minnesota North NFC North report on Twitter. I thought it was fake. What's taking so long? Why has Vikings brass not answered? And either because this could get ugly.
Yeah, I mean, it could get ugly. I mean, I saw a few weeks ago he had put his house on the market, but I think people didn't really start to panic about that because it's like, okay, well, maybe he just wants a different house, Maybe he wants to upgrade or downsize or whatever. But then it became more of a thing. So I guess this is something that we will probably see a little bit more of a resolution to
in the coming days. But yeah, I expected this to be when a player requests a release, those normally get resolved pretty quickly, especially a public thing like this, where it was very much like, hey, thanks for your time. I'm out.
Right. Well, he was respectful about it. He was, he thanked his coaches. He thanked the organization. He thanked his teammates and the fans.
Yeah, but then Ian Rappaport's report was Minnesota does not want to cut him.
No, and that's just it. The thing about him is he doesn't really have the leverage to hold out because we've already paid him all of the guaranteed money. He can hold out and not make any money is basically what it is, because what's left on his contract is a lot of incentive type bonuses. So he doesn't really have any leverage. The most he can do is ask for a release where he can get a new deal, And I get why he wants to do that based on the kind of season that he did have. So I don't know. And you're right. We're going to find out more in the coming days, whether or not the Vikings can, get a deal done with him or or if he is not going to want to back down, or if there's a release or a possible trade incoming or an extension. I don't know. There's a lot of options, and I'm very interested to see what's going to happen, and we will see it very soon.
Well, yeah, just wanted to make sure we talked about that because I just hope this doesn't get ugly.
Yeah, and I mean, I really hope it doesn't because
it's already very public. Normally, this stuff happens behind closed doors, but it was the fact that he made his peace out tweet and the report.
Usually, when players make that
report, but
and usually when
the
players
fact
make
that the
that
report came out right after that, no, we are not cutting him. We have no plans of cutting him. That's when it kind of got awkward to me.
Well, I think he's also, let's look at it. He's 30. He has a grocery list of injuries. He's still, we know he can still be productive. He can still do stuff. I think he's more at the point where it's like, hey, maybe I should go ring hunting, find a team like San Francisco or maybe even Kansas who could really use a player like me, and I could have a better shot at getting that Super Bowl. And maybe he sees the Vikings are at a point of rebuild, and he just doesn't want to be a part of that.
And that's
you can't blame a player on that.
His rights. He's within his rights to feel that way and to use any tools that he as a player has, because that's the world we live in, where you can negotiate and you can hold out. Nobody is, nobody's forced to do anything. So, no, it's good to at least talk about it because I'm sure that we'll probably have to follow up on that soon. But there was another thing that we wanted to talk about. The Vikings running backs. What is going on here? We've known that the Vikings have received trade offers for Dalvin Cook. We talked a little bit about that. I don't know. It's possible that they might move on from Cook and re-sign Madison now, is the news. And I don't know. I think that's possibly just based on the way that the Vikings offense is going. We tend to be going in more of a pass-heavy direction anyway. We had a whole episode where we were kind of breaking down and comparing the two running backs. And basically the thing where Cook had the advantage was kind of the explosive playability, where he still does have that, where he can break off for a 70-yard run. We haven't really seen that as much from Madison, but he's had a lot less time on the field. But Madison has proven that
the time he has had on the field. Yeah, and I mean the games that Madison has started, we look good. He plays well. He gets us over 100 yards. I mean, he's very capable running back, and I think a lot of it has to do with Minnesota has, especially of recent, we kind of have a history of getting a running back that's pretty good, but not like staying with them or letting them go before we really give them a shot. And then they go to another team and we find out, wow, that they were actually really good. And I think maybe we're a little scared of doing that with Alexander Madison. And like we said, and Cook, don't get me wrong, Cook is still arguably a top 5 running back in the league any other year. But it's just Madison, we just haven't really tested him yet, given him that piece to the car and that run.
If Cook goes, there's the issue of the salary cap, or his salary, obviously. He will be turning 28 before this coming season. I don't think he's regressed necessarily, but he went from a run-heavy Zimmer Vikings offense to a, pass-heavy KOC offense. Not as much of the play-action boot, set up the play-action boot with the run game as we used to do. So I just kind of spread West Coast style, shoot your shot offense. But my thing, I don't know what kind of compensation we're going to get for him, like I said earlier. And then the other thing, I would maybe look for Miami, especially now that they're allegedly going to land Jalen Ramsey. What if Miami just builds a super team?
Afford it. If they can afford it, I bet.
Because look at that defense right now.
Ramsey,
Bradley Chubb, and Jalen Phillips. You add Jalen Ramsey into that mix.
You know what that's? Yeah, I just want to see that salary cap in Miami. They're going to have between 3 players almost $100 million.
Tua is still on his rookie deal, so that helps a lot. That helps a ton.
That does help a lot. That does help a lot.
Jalen Waddle
they still got what? on the rookie deal too. But yeah, wait, he was drafted the year after Jefferson, right?
Waddle.
Or was he the Jefferson? Or was he the? Because I always no, he was the same year as Jefferson because Jamar Chase was the year after, right?
Yes.
Or was Jamar Chase and Jefferson together and Waddle was the? I
Jamar
always
was
mix that up.
definitely
I
the
know.
year after.
Waddle and Chase were together.
Were they?
No,
Mikey,
there was
look
one
that
with
up.
just Jefferson. Was it Waddle and Chase together, or I thought one went with
I
Jefferson
thought it
in the
was
Jefferson
Waddle and
year,
Chase
and then
together.
I'm looking it up.
I thought this was Waddle's first or second.
Waddle
year.
was drafted 6th overall in the 2021 NFL draft.
Yep.
Reuniting him with Tua Tagovailoa. Tua was drafted the same year as Jefferson, and Waddle
Yep.
was drafted the next year.
Yep, with Chase.
what year was Chase drafted? I thought Chase was drafted the
year
same
after
year as
JJ.
Jefferson.
He was drafted 2021.
Hmm.
Year after JJ.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
yeah, so that'd be a maybe a destination to look for. But yeah, I have no idea if the Vikes want to trade trade Cook and extend Madison. I would be all for that. That gets the carry stamp of approval. A running back is a running back. Get Kene Nwangwu involved more in the backfield. Make him the third down back. Make Madison more of the plow ahead back, which is what it's power run West Coast scheme anyways. So
Give
do
more
whatever we
handles
want
to
there.
CJ Ham. We'd
Yeah.
probably see a little more CJ
Well,
Ham also thrown
it's
in
looking
too.
like CJ Ham is not going to get cut from everything I've seen.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
perfect.
wouldn't.
Another
He's
guy
one of
we
the, in my
talked
opinion,
about
he's one of the
before
best fullbacks in the league.
Yeah, I mean, him and Kyle Juszczyk. I mean, I can't even really think of many others, but
Patrick Ricard from Baltimore.
yeah.
Yep,
Or
he was
did-
really good.
I
And
don't
then
know.
who's the Steelers? Who's the Steelers one? They have a
Watt.
Derek
pretty
Watt.
good fullback too.
Derek Watt.
Derek Watt.
Real quick
There we go.
before
There we
move to
go.
kind of league
There we
talk,
go.
can we,
You know the fullback position.
Yeah.
real quick before we move to
we know
league
fullbacks.
talk, Harrison Smith. What is our latest update on that?
It's all
I think it's still up in the air.
Last time we talked, we really felt like there wasn't going to be a release of Harrison Smith. It seemed like the Brian Flores and Harrison Smith match.
I feel like the release of Cameron Dantzler almost cemented the fact that we're retaining Harrison Smith. I could be wrong.
Oh, we need yeah, for sure. We need pass help. We need some sort of
Just like Patrick Peterson. I feel like the release of Cameron Dantzler cemented that we're getting Pat Pete back. Hopefully we get Harrison Smith back on top of that.
I mean,
Cam Bynum, I think, is capable. Lewis Seen's coming back from injury. I don't know if I
his rehab
trust.
is going very well.
Yes, I don't know if I trust a defensive backfield led by Seen and Bynum though, without a Patrick Peterson or a Harrison Smith. I don't trust that at all.
No, Seen is basically going to be going in. Like we talked about this yesterday, Austin. Seen is basically a rookie. He played very limited, like less than 10 snaps on defense. I mean, he's just so green still.
Unless
so,
the Vikings want to
rely
make
on him.
a splash pick at linebacker or a splash free agency sign at linebacker and move Asamoah into the back of the defense. He played safety in college.
I mean, Asamoah is another versatile player. That's the nice thing about a lot of these young defensive players that we have. They seem to be very versatile. They can play multiple positions. So I guess that's a really
Also,
Asamoah is easily the fastest non-cornerback on the team.
Yeah.
Also, the nice thing about young players right now in the NFL is they're still young enough that if you need to shift their position, it's easy. Like if you need somebody to take on a new spot on the field, that you can do it I think it's easier to do at a younger age.
Yeah, let's shift Jalen Reagor to Waterboy.
Oof. Jeez, man.
Scary, brutal.
I would rather have young Kirko Chains, little Lincoln, returning punts than Jalen Reagor.
Oof. No. All right. So
let's hope Jalen Reagor hears this too.
Let's transition to the league at large and kind of
A-Rod.
the big thing here. Aaron Rodgers.
A-Rod and Lamar.
Yeah, at this point, it looks like the Packers and the Jets have agreed to terms of a trade. The only thing that is missing is Aaron Rodgers' approval, and I'm sure that will also be coming soon in the coming days. But also knowing Aaron Rodgers, he's really going to drag it out and make it about himself. So,
didn't he just buy a place in like?
A lot.
Didn't he just buy a place in Manhattan? Didn't he just buy a place in Manhattan? I'm pretty sure he just bought
So a
like
lot
a
of
new.
people are. The big question is when. Oh my god.
When what? Huh?
I don't know if he bought a place in Manhattan. That's probably fake news, Austin. You probably read that on the funnies right by Garfield and Charlie Brown.
I'll look it up. I'm pretty sure it was real.
Interesting.
Anyways, but the deadline. A lot of people are wondering the why. New league year starts on the 15th. The 17th is another key date to watch. That's when the Lamar Jackson situation is expected to kind of get, if a team's going to throw a trade, it's likely going to happen before or on the 17th. And then as far as, so Lamar Jackson, I had heard his, so he signs this non-exclusive franchise tag. It becomes exclusive middle of June. That's when that becomes exclusive. So teams have from March 17th until June to trade for Lamar Jackson. But you're going to want to do that earlier before the draft, obviously. So I would say, you have a window of the 17th up until the end of April in the draft to do a Lamar trade if that's going to happen.
Right. And I don't know. I've seen this trade proposal as far as the Vikings go. And it's probably obviously as a Vikings fan, I say yes. Maybe Baltimore doesn't say yes, but Kirk Cousins and Zadarius Smith to Baltimore for Lamar Jackson. And we probably have to pay more.
Yeah, we would have to throw probably a first and 2 seconds on top of that as well. But
right. But if Zadarius doesn't want to play here anyway, I mean, maybe you have to extend him, or maybe you trade him with the idea that Baltimore is going to extend him because he almost played for Baltimore last season. He backed out of the deal last minute. But maybe it changes things with Lamar not there. But I don't know. I don't think that the Vikings are seriously in contention to get Lamar Jackson, but I don't know. Something to think about.
there's no way.
No, I mean, it's at least something kind of fun in this offseason. But no, you're probably right. I don't think it's going to happen, not for Minnesota. You're probably looking at a truly QB-needy team who's going to make a big swing.
Washington.
Yeah, Carson Wentz is gone.
I do feel bad for the guy. He had that one MVP caliber. I mean, when Philly went to the Super Bowl, that was his MVP caliber season. He really fell off of a cliff. And I'm still living in the Fargo-Moorhead area, so constantly I'm seeing billboards with his face on it and his photo up in the sports bars, and it's
yeah,
geez, this dude's he's one step away from starring in erectile dysfunction commercials, or he's fallen off of so big of a cliff that at this point he's just a spokesperson.
Yeah. And obviously we can get more into it later on because we're running out of time. But Trey Lance, that whole 49er situation doesn't seem to have sorted itself out either. So
Vikes trade for Trey Lance.
Did you guys? No, don't trade for Trey Lance. Did you not just see the interview with the front office guy talking about his injury?
Oh, was it the one who scratched his head? He's like, "Oh, it's going really well."
He basically was like, "Oh, it's going great," but his body language read entirely wrong.
No, I did not see this.
I think it was the coach. They were asking him about how Trey Lance recovery going, and he was like, "Oh, great," but he's sitting there scratching his totally looks like he's lying through his teeth. So no,
yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm not on that. I don't trust any NDSU QB.
Yeah, I mean his leg is definitely still intact. We haven't amputated it. I mean,
yeah, it's yeah. Well, anyway, unless there's any last second thing around the league that we need to cover today,
I think that might be. It's all speculation. Like I said, one splat. Okay, here's one quick thing we can do. One splash something that is realistic. I'm not talking trading the barn for Zeke Elliott. Give me something realistic that you want to happen. I said mine earlier. I want T. Higgins opposite of Justin Jefferson. You get one guy with Randy Moss level height and jump ability across from the speed and route running of Jefferson. It's over for any team trying to cover that. Plus Hawkinson, it's over. So I'm thinking T. Higgins, get him on the team. That's mine.
I'm gonna go. Vikings are very much in play for CJGJ.
You want him?
Yep.
He can play corner too, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Slot, at least. Slot corner.
Yep.
Hard hitting. Throwing
CJ
linebacker too.
Gardner-Johnson. I mean, I'm just putting it out there.
Okay, Austin.
What was the question? I'm sorry. I was just reading the article about Rodgers getting a place in Manhattan.
A splash player that you want on the Vikings. A realistic move that you want the Vikes to make. That would be like team changing.
I don't really care about free agencies right now. My main concern is on the draft. I just want to see few good defensive players picked in the draft. That's all I really care about. Fill out some of these holes with young players that can mature. It's going to be a rocky next couple of years. That's all I'm going to say.
It very well could be. Certainly starting to look that way. But I think that will be all for us today. So thanks for stopping by. Thanks for always being loyal. And this will be it for the season 2 of This Is Our Year. So
when are we coming back? Next time the Vikes make some sort of huge development?
I figure we'll be back. My guess is we'll be back probably next
week. A week, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah, probably when the Aaron Rodgers news.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
Right, if there's something that affects us, we'll be back. So
cool.
Looking forward to it. We will we'll catch you guys later then. All right.
See ya.
Later. All right, so welcome to the after show. First of all, just got your thing, and I also just saw this on Twitter. The trade is now agreed to. Dolphins get Jalen Ramsey. The Rams get a 2023 third rounder and tight end Hunter Long.
Is that it?
A third rounder. I mean, he's expensive. He's older. He's obviously
the
he's
best
great.
Cornerback in the league. Still the
Sauce
best
Gardner is the best
league.
quarterback in the league.
No, Jalen Ramsey. Sauce Gardner had a really good year. Sauce Gardner does that for 2 more years. Yeah, I'll give him the best in the league. But Jalen Ramsey has stayed consistent.
Jalen Ramsey didn't have a great year. The
I
Rams
cannot believe that it was only a third rounder and a backup tight end.
Yeah,
that's
they fleeced them and a tight end. That's really they got nothing.
Yeah, I mean that's a. I don't know. It's
wow.
It's like anybody could have paid that,
I cannot believe that.
We should have paid that.
But he comes with a huge cap hit, so that's also part of it.
And a fully guaranteed 2-year deal, right?
I believe so.
Traded Dalvin Cook.
I mean, it's a lot though. I'll look at his cap hit. Jalen Ramsey.
He's now in the books for $36.9 million, fully guaranteed over 2 years, 2023 and 2024 season.
Oof.
Yeah, that would hurt.
Yeah, so I get it. They're not paying a lot in draft compensation, but they are paying a lot on the books as far as cap.
Well, that'll be great. I mean, that defense, that'll be everyone's going to be trying to draft them in fantasy this year. Dolphins D.
I guess.
Right, well, anyways,
they've been pretty okay.
I do have one after show question that it's been a while since we've had an after show. What's your guys'? So we just did daylight savings time last night. Jumped ahead an hour. What are your thoughts on daylight savings time?
It means nothing to me. It means nothing to me. My phone automatically updates the time. I wouldn't have even known it was daylight savings.
You don't feel more tired today?
No.
You lost an hour.
What we jumped?
We jumped ahead. We lost an hour of sleep.
We sprang.
Well, if you go to bed early enough, it doesn't really matter. But no,
I don't know. No,
Get rid of
it's a
it. Who
Sunday
cares?
morning. I slept in, did my normal stuff. It honestly, it means nothing to me. Everybody makes such a big deal about it. It's such a minor inconvenience.
So, Mikey, you want to abolish daylight savings time? That seems a little intense.
Well, no, that's why we're.
I have no
wasn't that
extreme
like?
feelings about it. Some people do, not me.
Didn't the Congress like bring it up to like get rid of it?
Yes.
Wasn't that like a thing last year where it's
been.
like the government was trying to get rid of daylight? I think it's kind of stupid. Let's just keep the clock how it is. There's no point in jumping for an hour. Who cares when it gets dark? If you live, especially if you live in the Midwest, half the year the sun's out by 5 p.m. So
yeah, I don't know. It's for me. Maybe there's some people who it has an effect on, but for me personally,
it's a photo I just saw on Twitter. It's Jalen Ramsey.
Oh,
such a little effect.
I'm sad about that. I really wanted Jalen. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I really wanted. We needed a cornerback, and I wanted him.
Well, what are you guys thinking? What's on your mind?
Not much here.
We just took on our fourth winter. Did you guys get a ton of snow down there?
Yeah, it's pretty hard outside. If you can't tell, it's that bright light behind me is probably the light of the reflection off this blizzard that's hitting us behind.
I guess it is snowing a little bit. I didn't even know. I haven't stepped foot outside today. So
I don't even know what we've gotten in the last 24 hours. It's been insane here in Little Falls.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in Little Falls?
I am in Little Falls right now. Yeah.
Anybody who's listening
to
Little Falls, so do
Little
with
Falls.
that information what you will.
West side. He's on the west side.
West side.
West side.
I can't believe you've never seen that video, Austin.
I haven't seen it either.
Are you guys kidding me?
I'm not a Jameis Winston fan, really.
Oh, he has
Was this
so many.
before or after LASIK? Is this before or after LASIK? Because if it's before, it's
this is when he was still on the Bucks.
So is this from the 30-30 year?
We're about to eat this stuff.
You know what? I did see that one. How did I see it?
And the players behind do not even look. The team doesn't even look pumped up. They look more like grossed out. Like I can imagine the receivers like, gross. I have to catch that ball now.
Well,
here's something. Trevor Lawrence. A lot of people are like, I don't know if you guys have seen the videos of like Trevor Lawrence trying to motivate his team.
Oh yeah.
And the caption is like, dude couldn't
great
motivate me to make a sandwich.
We've got a great game ahead of us. Everybody just go out there and just execute and we'll get it done. It's like it's the least motivating person of all time.
But also like I do like how at the end, like he stands in the tunnel at the end of every game and he makes sure to talk to every single one of his teammates. Like I'm not trying to say that he isn't a good leader.
A leader.
I'm not getting on that TikTok train of Trevor Lawrence is a bad leader.
No, but that's funny.
But
there's just some people that just aren't made to be the center of the circle and hype up the team before we go out.
Well, it took Kirk.
Like,
it seemed like
you
it took
can still
him
be a leader.
time.
Yeah, you can still be a leader and just not be like the hype up guy.
Well, actually, that actually reminds me because I was watching that video of Bud Grant and he was talking about this like ancient Chinese proverb. Basically, it said that, a good leader is quiet. Like the people that he's leading, they hardly know that the leader is even there. And it's enough so that the people that they're leading, they can feel like they did it themselves. So I don't know. I think there's something to be said about a quiet leader too.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Well, it's about
tired, Carrie.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry. I shoveled right before this, and I didn't get to eat in between, so I'm.
You didn't get your snack. You're gonna have a little.
Well, yeah, you guys saw I was eating whatever that was, Swiss roll, ho ho, and then a little like cheese thing.
What did you call me?
Said.
What'd you call me?
You gonna take a little nap after?
No, I don't take naps. I never take naps.
Really?
Okay.
I only
Wasn't
take
picking it
daytime
up.
naps if I'm sick. Like if I'm actually sick. Other than that, I
No.
don't nap. My
What about
body
when you were a
can't.
kid? Did you nap
What?
when you were a kid?
Yeah, I nap. Obviously, when I'm a baby, yeah, I'm a toddler. I'd go down for a nap, but like
Naps are so important.
they aren't. I just get the proper amount of sleep at night.
No, I mean, yeah, but I mean, don't get me wrong. Nothing but like taking a quick half-hour nap can rejuvenate your whole day.
No, I
I
wake
heard
up
don't
and
12
I'm,
minutes.
oversleep
All
on
you
a nap.
need, all you need is 12 minutes.
I wake up and I'm cranky. I don't know what.
Need a little
Like
more
I look at the
12, but-
clock. Like if I took like a pre-dinner nap, I look at the clock and it's like dark outside because the sun sets early in this time of year. It says
Yeah.
5 o'clock, and I don't know if it's like 5 a.m. or I don't know where I am. I get all confused. No, I
There
don't
are
take
definitely some naps that leave me feeling like I have no idea about anything in the world. Like I don't know my name. I don't know where I am. Like nothing makes sense after some naps. I'll
Mikey
give you
takes
that.
a Tua Tagovailoa nap.
Yeah, really.
As long as I don't take like anything more than 90 minutes, I'm good. My naps just keep me rejuvenated. So once I get around that hour and a half, a little more, is when I oversleep
So
and I wake up.
you
Like
just had a venti coffee and this other energy drink. Are you going to go down? You're not.
Oh, I won't need a nap today. I got a pretty decent amount of sleep last night. But no, I won't take a nap today because I got auditions tomorrow, so I need to get to bed early, and I got a full day
Break
at
a
work.
leg.
Thank you.
It'll be great. Well,
Take a nap, Carrie. Honestly, just set a timer
Don't
for like
need-
45
I'm not-
minutes.
Harry, you sound a
tired.
little cranky. I think you need a nap.
I'm not
You
tired.
do sound a little cranky.
Yeah, okay. Maybe
I
you just lay
disagree.
down and see how you feel, okay?
I am on my bed.
Mom, pa know best.
Wait a minute. Who's Ma and who's Pa?
Have you guys seen the episode of SpongeBob when they find that little clam and
Yeah, they take on like a gender rolled household.
Oh, it's this might be my favorite episode of SpongeBob, and I just love where it's like Patrick's like SpongeBob's like, well, who's gonna be the mom and dad? And Patrick's like, I want to be the mom, and like SpongeBob looks at him and he's like, Patrick, and it like zooms and he just has hair grotesque everywhere, and he's like, okay, you're right. Call me Daddy. I love that episode so much.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, anyway,
Mikey, were you even allowed to watch SpongeBob growing up?
it was one of those things where my mom didn't like me watching SpongeBob, but I sometimes would do it anyway, you know.
I know
You're
so
getting
many
all these
kids
bad
that
ideas.
It's kind of a
so many
yeah,
kids' parents didn't let them.
No, it's kind of a relatable thing for a lot of people. I mean, but they
No, I met a ton of people when I went to college. Their parents wouldn't let them. I mean, my parents wouldn't let me watch it early on, because that show started in '99. I wasn't like, 1 year old, sucking on my nookie watching SpongeBob. That was not it. They thought it was a little too much. I was watching Blue's Clues and Dora.
yeah.
But once I turned like 4, 5, then yeah, SpongeBob was on all the time.
I
Yeah,
was lucky. My
was,
dad would come home from work and we would watch SpongeBob, so I was watching SpongeBob from the beginning. But fun fact, my sister, she didn't let her kids watch SpongeBob, and that used to just drive me nuts. And there was times when she would need a babysitter, and I'd be like, fine, I'll babysit, but can I watch SpongeBob? And so she would have to compromise because nobody else would babysit. So that's how I get my nieces to be able to watch like SpongeBob.
Obviously, anybody who knows me knows that I'm a musical theater guy. One musical I'm just not interested in is the SpongeBob musical. I've heard it's good. I just don't care. I don't
Wait,
care.
there's a SpongeBob musical?
Yeah, it's on
You're
Broadway.
behind the times. This has been out for almost a decade.
It's old.
Now.
It's old.
Well, I mean, I stopped watching SpongeBob quite some time ago, like well over a decade.
No,
but
it was
like,
on Broadway.
Yep.
High schools do it. It's
And
like Shrek.
apparently it was pretty good. But I just don't.
I mean,
I don't really care.
FMCT just did it recently, I think.
SpongeBob, huh?
Did they not?
I don't think so.
are you sure they didn't do
Maybe not
Shrek?
FMCT. It was like some sort of Fargo Moorhead. They did SpongeBob within the last. I think maybe it was canceled from COVID or something. I don't know.
Yeah, some I mean, I've been seeing more communities putting on the SpongeBob musical, and I don't know, just seems like something that does not interest me, is what it seems like.
Whatever.
No, I'm all down
I don't
for it.
know.
I want to see it now. I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, look up the was it slime tutorial?
That's
I don't
wild.
know.
That is
I bet you.
wild.
I bet
No,
you
that's
it'll
that's a
come-
term, Mikey. You don't know that term?
What is that term?
Slime tutorial. It's like so you look up like, I don't know, Putnam County slime tutorial, and that's what the title of the YouTube video is. They like disguise it.
Oh yeah. Okay, disguise so you can watch the whole thing.
Oh, it's like
See,
like a bootleg.
Yeah, bootleg, but they're called slime tutorials.
Oh,
Do you guys remember back in the day, like when you could watch pretty much any movie on YouTube? It's just it would be in parts, so you would have to go find like for example, if
Urban
you're watching like
Dictionary. Inside code term for any show / musical bootleg.
slime.
Full slime tutorial.
See, I miss that. It's like back when you could go on YouTube and like, for example, if you wanted to watch like Rudy, you just have to find Rudy part 1, part 2, part 3, and you just watch the whole thing for free.
oh yeah, I cried at that movie. That's a great movie.
Rudy?
Rudy.
Yeah, Mikey cried. We were on a bus.
When did you
We were on a
watch it in like high
school trip.
school or something?
Yeah, we were
Yeah,
on
it
a
was a
school
band
trip
trip.
going up to Duluth, and LaFlamme put on Rudy, and Lucas and Mikey are sitting next to each other, and I was not interested. I had like headphones and I was listening to music, and at one point I look over. You know, the movie's been on for a while. It's like coming towards the end. I look over. Mikey's eyes are locked on. He's got chin up. Eyes are on it. He's lucky he got a seat where like the screen is like right above his head. You know, but it's not like cranking his neck, but it's like right there. He's front row seat. Tears streaming down his face.
Mikey, you cry. I've seen you cry at a lot of
I thought
movies and
something
stuff.
happened. I looked at Lucas. And
No,
I was
no,
like,
he just gets.
I thought like
he
Mikey
really
just
gets
got
into the
news that like
story.
his dog died or something.
I
was
really-
like
I
super
just-
concerned.
I just really get emotional about it, and I don't think it's something. I'm not ashamed of it. So
No,
And
there's
don't
been
think you
times.
should be. I just remember thinking like I thought something happened. I thought like you got news from home that something happened, but no, you were watching some stupid football movie.
it's not as. Have you seen Rudy?
You know what, Mikey? I haven't.
I would just.
You
I
should
would
watch
recommend
it.
it.
It's a
I'm
good
not gonna
movie,
judge
especially if you're a
you.
football fan.
Does it hold up?
Oh yeah.
No, yeah, it's a really good movie. If you're a football fan, it's a really good movie. Like, yeah, it still holds up to this day. There's a reason why it still gets quoted to this day. But no, yeah, it's a really good movie
What's
if you
the
have to
main
watch
quote?
it.
What's like the one quote that I've probably heard? the most?
Rudy.
Okay.
It's the Rudy chant. That's the
That's the
main one. But no, I've seen Mikey cry at a few movies. I've seen him cry at Sing, which I don't blame you. When the gorilla dad makes it to the show, it's a very emotional part.
Oh,
What was it? I was at a movie with you one time, and I just remember, like, I was like, "Is somebody sniffling and like crying?" And it's Mikey right next to me, and I think it was a Marvel movie too. That's why it made it a
was
little
it
more weird.
Endgame? Was it Endgame or Infinity War or one of those?
It might have been Infinity War or something, but I just remember being at like a Marvel hero movie, and it just really got to Mikey.
yep. Hey, it's okay to cry.
It is, Mikey.
No.
It is.
The
Okay.
one I will make fun of you for, though, the one that I think is funny that you cried at, and I wasn't there, but I heard about it, is the opening intro to Big Mouth. I heard got you to cry one time.
It's
That
just
one I think is funny.
It was the key, and they say I'm going through changes, and he's just it's very. I don't know. It just got to me. It doesn't every time. I've seen that show many times. It doesn't get to me
Every once in a
time.
while.
Just that one time, it got to me.
That's funny.
No.
Okay, but we can all, if like the viewers won't get this, but you're not the worst like Kalpikov to watch a movie with emotions. Your sister, like sometimes I can't even go to a play with her, or if I do,
She's a
I
loud
have
crier.
to
Well,
sit like a few seats away because if you're in a show, you love to have her in your audience, but if you're in an audience.
Well, I just remember one. She had seen the show before, and she went again, and she was anticipating the sad part, so she was crying before the sad part even happens.
I think I was
It was
at
like,
that show
wow.
because you start hearing sniffling at the beginning of the scene, and it's like, okay, is something sad about to happen? It's like, at least give me a spoiler alert before.
Mikey, can you show off your windbreaker? I'm just like,
yes, it's
very nice.
pretty cool. Yeah, it's got a nice hood with like a mesh interior.
Oh yeah. Austin, what are you rocking?
Oh.
Just like a little maroon sweater, red sweater?
No, it's like a little knit long sleeve. I don't got the. I mean, I got a couple. I could put on my Bucks hat. Everyone knows I'm a
There you
Bucks
go.
fan. Not a bandwagoner. I can prove it. Carrie thinks I
believe you.
am though.
Minnesota.
Edwards.
Nice.
Got a trash organization.
Yeah.
But
I love
They
all
are-
Minnesota sports except for the Timberwolves. It's like the one Minnesota sports team I just do not like.
I'm just so disconnected to basketball. That's
I used to be. I actually hate, even just like, if you had asked me like a year and a half ago, I don't know, basketball's boring and I hate it. I don't like watching it. But now I just do for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a really, I really like it because I mean, it's one of those team sports where you can actually physically see how players feel about each other on the court and how they play. And also, I mean, don't get me wrong, like football is great, but one thing I really liked, I think it was the XFL or the CFL. I think it was one of them, the ones where they would interview players mid-game or like do stuff and actually kind of allowed you to see what players are like and how they actually feel. Like that's one thing I think that the NFL doesn't have that the NBA, a lot of sports don't have that the NBA has. It's like while you play, there's a platform because there's just, you're right there and you hear them trash talking each other, you hear them talking on the court, and like how the NBA does press conferences, I think is better than any other sports organization. It's literally just they're very good. I think the NBA also, I think they have the best commissioner of any sports league. So it's a very well ran league, and I really enjoy the NBA because of it. So usually I don't like commissioners or front offices, but I do like the NBA one.
yeah.
Well, I think I'm gonna go down for my nap. I mean, eat some lunch. So
Yeah, take a nap.
okay.
All right.
In the
Well, we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you in a few hours, Carrie.
See how I'm doing.
You-
Check in.
You want me to warm you up a glass of milk before you go down, sweetheart?
Yep. Sounds great. Thanks, Mom. All right.
We can sing.
Shout out
sing.
Jalen Ramsey.
I could read your favorite bedtime story, The Good Little Dinosaur.
You know, my favorite bedtime story, it's nice and simple, you know. It's only got one word. And that one word is
School.
Cool.
school. See you guys.
Cool.
Bye.